Hello and welcome to Kedrick Farms. We're back with another episode of County of 40 Mile by Camil Mapping, and we finished up our harvest last time, so today we're putting away our equipment here real quick, and then we need to get back into seeding some winter crops. I've not done a lot with winter crops here before, and so this map has a geo that supports it. And so we're going to be putting in some winter canola and some winter wheat here to see how that goes. But first, we need to get both of these combines put right back up into the shed here. Now, I think earlier in the series I said that we had 45-foot headers on these combines, and that is incorrect. We've actually got 50-foot headers on each of these combines, so we're definitely squeezing through this door here. So with all of the harvest equipment put away here, we're gonna get our two tractors set back up on the seeders here. We do still have the John Deere demo unit out here with the big anhydrous tank, and so we're definitely gonna be getting that back out in the field here in just a little bit. But first, I want to get both our Challenger and our Fendt hooked up onto these seeders. So first, let's go ahead and grab this Challenger and get it hooked up. I think today we're gonna try and use courseplay on our seeders and run both seeders in the same field if at all possible. I haven't actually used courseplay with these big Borgo seeders, at least not any time recently, and so I want to try and tackle our fields one at a time here and get them done as fast as possible. Plus, I'm mostly just curious to see if it'll work. And so we're going to get this hooked up and pulled out into the yard, but then we're going to go ahead and get the other one hooked up right away before we go ahead and get courseplay going here. Let's go ahead and pull this on over to our refill station and see if we can get the seed and fertilizer topped off here before we head out to the field. With any luck, I can get the auger out here in the appropriate fill zone without crashing into anything. It looks like I've got plenty of seed, so we just need to top off our fertilizer, and we're out of money. So we're gonna have to call the bank here and extend this loan. I think we're just gonna go ahead and take that up to $450 and see that we can have enough money to hopefully top off our fertilizer here. I know this is gonna take quite a bit, and since that's gonna take a little bit to refill, we're gonna let that go and go grab our Fendt out of the shed here. Now the Fendt, we've made some enhancements to, and so as many of you have recommended, I've been watching a few of Mike Mitchell's videos on YouTube, and he's got the triple tires on the back of his Fendt 1050, and so we're gonna try this out this season and see what this does for us. Even if it doesn't necessarily provide a benefit to us here in Farm Sim, it definitely looks cool, and so I'm super excited to be able to try this out. I've seen a few different versions of triple tires floating around on Facebook. However, this is one that was provided by Joshua Duncan over at Forward Ag in the Custom Hunting Facebook group. So super excited to get a chance to try out another edit by a great modder. And we've got this all hooked up, and much like the other seeder, we are pretty much out of fertilizer here, and so we're gonna run this right on over here to our silos and get the fertilizer topped off on this rig as well. I'm guessing this one in the front should be done about now, and so we're gonna go ahead and get him moving out of the way, and we'll top everything off here. So while that refills, let's go ahead and grab the Challenger here, and we're gonna take this on out to the field. If we look at the map here, we're gonna be seeding some canola here down in field 5. We're gonna put that in right over top that wheat field because I believe that's gonna be our best rotation available for us here. So we're just gonna bring up courseplay here. We're gonna select field 5. We're gonna select 2 tools, which means I don't need to skip rows because our tools are going to alternate with each other. We're gonna do 1 headland pass around, should be plenty good for us here, and we're gonna generate course. Since we do have multiple seeders here, we're gonna start this guy out on the outside pass. He's going to be one left. And we're going to just go ahead and tell him to start at the first waypoint here. I'm going to attempt to get turned around here. It's been just a little while since we've used Courseplay. Haven't used it in this series much at all. And so it'll be interesting to see how it does with these big air carts on the back of the seeder. I expect to get stuck at least once, and I'm also just curious to make sure that this is going to work with our canola here. It looks like from a precision farming perspective, we need to go to the full 200 for canola in sandy loam, and so it looks like everything is working successfully here. And we are out of money again from filling up on the fertilizer, so we're going to just take this all the way up to 500k, I think, just to make sure we've got enough money to actually do this. And we'll jump back over here and get this thing filling up again since it had stopped at 50% there. And with that all topped off, we're going to get this guy out into the field as well. Now I do need to make sure the cruise control gets sped up here a bit because I have a tendency to leave my grain cart tractors at 6 miles an hour and then put them out in the field on another job and wonder why they go so slow. I can see in the distance there our Challenger is making its way along the far end of that field, so our view distance settings have been appropriately raised, which is good. It's always handy to be able to keep an eye on the vehicles from the different parts of the map here. We're going to go ahead and copy the course from that Challenger. We're going to put ourselves in fieldwork mode, make sure that we're the rightmost vehicle, and I do need to get this thing unfolded. And we're going to do the same thing here, go ahead and get spun around, and start this guy off at the first waypoint here. We are set on canola here. I guess I forgot to check our other seeder when we kicked this off. I should probably go do that here. Where is he going? Hang on. This guy seemed a little bit confused, so we're gonna start him off one more time here and hopefully he figures this out. Drive course. Well, I'm not really sure why he thinks this is the first spot that he needs to go down, given that we're on the right-hand side of the line. But we're gonna just let him go here and figure it out, I guess. We'll keep an eye on this. I know the other guy is working around on the headlands here, so let's go check in on the Challenger here and just see what he's got going on. It looks like the Challenger is working appropriately here, so I think we're gonna let these guys go, and hopefully we'll figure out why this Fendt is starting in kind of an awkward position here. I do want to save this as field 5 plant ×2, just in case our game decides to go sideways on us at some point. And I'm just gonna double check this map here. We are on the right spot for seeding. I just wish he'd gone and done that other headland pass here. I'm gonna jump back into our Challenger here one more time, just because I'm curious to see what he does on the end row here. I really think we're gonna end up with one pass here on the end of this field that isn't planted, just like that. We might have to come back and make that final round all the way around the outside of the field on our own. Either way, well, we've got the seeder going, and it's looking good, so let's get rid of these ugly lines, and we'll let these guys get going, and we're going to jump back over here into this John Deere demo unit, and we have one more field of canola that I want to put in this year, and that's going to be this field that was barley here by the farm. And so I'm trying to think about the best way to approach this with these large implements. I think we're going to come right in here and plant these longer rows along the road, and then we'll figure out how to clean up the rest after that. I am still getting used to these large articulated vehicles, and so the turning on these is always a little bit interesting. I feel like everything I do is greatly exaggerated and greatly delayed, and so I have a tendency to overcorrect on a regular basis, and that causes all kinds of problems, but that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and jump on into seeding here, and we're gonna try and tackle a good chunk of this on our own, I think. And so with that, let's go ahead and jump into the rest of our seeding here. We are back over in the John Deere here, knocking out some acres. We've got the first pass done here, first round done here, I guess I should say. And we're going to be coming up here along the farm edge, and so I wanted to jump over here and grab the seeder before he ran into any parts of the farm. And it looks like our Fendt is already at the end of our courseplay course here. These guys have been just going to town, doing an awesome job here. Now, he's done a little bit earlier than the other guy because he refused to plant his initial headland pass. And so we're going to have to jump back over there and do that manually here in just a second. And so my thought being that I would wrap up this pass here and go take one headland off on the other end here and set the worker up doing these medium length rows on the east-west here, and hopefully that's going to work out pretty well for us and let us divide our attention just a little bit. So we've got a pretty big grass headland here that we're gonna be able to assist with our turning around. So I think that we only really need to take one pass off here with the seeder in order to turn this over to a worker. I'm fairly confident we won't end up in any of these telephone poles. Here we go. Get everything turned back on and sent down the long rows here. I'm going to overlap just a smidge into the grass here because I think that, if I remember right, this field widens a little bit as we get further down. So we've got everything going here. Looks like the worker's going to have this under control. We better hop down here and get our 1050 out of the way before the Challenger catches up with us here. Go ahead and do that. And we're just going to take this up manually. It looks like the Challenger's got a pass here to do, and he'll be done. And so there's no reason we can't just take care of this one ourselves. Plus, I'm loving these triples. And so it'll give us an opportunity to put this thing through its paces. And thankfully, when we're turning around here, it looks like we overlapped into this headland pass a little bit, so we're not having to struggle to get things lined up perfectly to hit the entire pass. I'm nowhere near as perfect of a driver as Courseplay can be when it's doing these kinds of things, and so I'm always appreciative when I can have a little bit of leeway. We've definitely not been going through the seed nearly as fast as the fertilizer, which I don't understand what happened, because I feel like last season when we were planting, we went through a lot more seed than we're going through now. And so I must have done something to the map when I was in messing with some other things to mess up the seed utilization. I know we talked about this last episode when we were checking out the John Deere seeder on the other field. However, this is the first time I've gotten back into the Bourgault seeders since then, and I know I haven't changed these because these are the base DLC versions of this mod. And so I have definitely messed something up at some point on this map, and I will have to do some digging into that off camera here before next episode. It looks like our Challenger is done over there on the other corner. And so I think what we're going to do is take this seeder back up to the corner here, and then go ahead and switch down to the Challenger and have the Challenger clean up the other side of the map. So we've managed to make our way up to the corner here. I'm going to go ahead and fold this seeder up and just move this rig out of the way here. I don't think we're going to run it back up to the farm, but I am going to fold it up here until we decide what we're going to do with it next. Before we jump down into the Challenger, I just wanted to come up here and check and see that our John Deere seeding rig is still going here. Everything's looking good. So we're going to let him keep trucking on that field, and we're going to come down here and get rid of this Courseplay driver, and we're going to go ahead and clean up the other end of the field here with the Challenger, just to give ourselves a little bit of variety. And we need to work him up to that other corner here anyway, and so this will be the most convenient way to achieve both goals at the same time. I have really enjoyed this Challenger mod as well. It seems to be working good. It has lots of power, pulls on this seeder really well. And so I've been putting some thought into what I want to do for the next upgrades on the farm here. I haven't made any decisions yet, but as we go through the winter cycle here, we're going to be able to sell all of our crops over the winter months and hopefully pay off our loan and have some working capital to make some upgrades here on the farm. And so we should probably start thinking about that here over the next couple of episodes and see what kinds of things we should add to this series. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Well, that's going to wrap up seeding this field with canola. So we're going to go ahead and fold this rig up as well, and I think leave it right over here next to the Fendt. Realistically, I don't think I would be doing much driving while folding up something like this. I think the weight would be a bit much while it's in that mid-fold state, so always got to be careful with delicate machinery like this. Hopping back up into the John Deere here, it looks like we're on the last round up on the east-west bits on the north end of the field here. And so as soon as we finish this round, we're going to have to take it down, and I think we left a couple passes down there along the bins that we still need to do. So we're going to jump on down over there here right quick. Having this third seeding rig has definitely made the season go by a bit faster. I think after this field we're going to be down to just 2 fields that we need to put some crops back into. I believe we're going to be putting winter wheat into our 2 remaining fields, and so maybe we'll do that in a live stream here later this week. We'll see. I find that seeding and harvesting tend to make for good live streams, as they're fairly straightforward activities. And I'm hoping we can get around the edge of these bins here and lined up without too much hassle. I should still have a GPS track set up here as well. And so we're going to go ahead, I think, and just tackle the headland here real quick. And then see where our GPS track is going to take us after we make this corner. There's always the hope that it lines up in a meaningful way. It looks like this is actually not too bad. We've got our cedar hanging over into the grass ever so slightly, but we'll manage with this. And then it looks like we've got probably one round here in the middle to tackle, and we'll be done with this field. And we're coming up on our final pass here. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more daily farm sim content. Don't forget, we've got a Discord server and a public community multiplayer server where we're currently playing Flint Hills. If you want to join the channel and become a supporter, we also run 2 private members-only multiplayer servers. One is currently running Marksville, Wisconsin, and the other is running Midtown, USA. That's all for today. Kedrick, out. Oh, where'd the John Deere go? Oh, that doesn't look good. I wasn't really planning on doing canola on canola there, mister. Across multiple field boundaries. Thank you. These evergreens, on the other hand, not as hopeful. Oh, come on.